Hello! Here we are again in Career to Go YouTube channel. So by this time you should already be following us. This is the third video we are doing, and today I have a very special guest with me. I'm gonna talk about him soon, but first I wanna invite you to follow the channel, to click like and to share this content with friends that might be looking for a job. People that want to improve their career, people that are struggling with job interviews, curriculum, how to use LinkedIn, and all the career things related. So please help us to help you. Just click like, share, and let's start. Are you curious to know some tips and tricks from another international recruiter? I mean, I am an international recruiter, but obviously I'm not alone in this world. And today I brought Phill with me, and he's going to introduce himself, but we do have a lot of things in common, right?
Yes, for sure.
We are both Brazilian, we are both Italian, we worked in the same company together, and we both built our international career into the recruitment area. So I'm very happy to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
I know you have a lot to share, so can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Phill Fernandes. I'm a recruiter. I've been working in HR for about 9 years now. So since I graduated from university in Brazil. So
good.
Yeah.
Good. Phill has experience working as a recruiter in Australia, and now he's based in the US and also working in the US. So it's a very international mix, and very interesting, like Australia and United States from a Brazilian person. So how did you end up in Australia? Let's start from there.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to learn English, so graduating from university, I thought it was the best time to start traveling and just study English.
How old were you at the time?
I was 24 years old.
24,
yeah.
Quite young.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to Australia without knowing any English, or you knew like the basics?
So I knew the basics, and I thought that I could order a meal or something, but it turned out that I couldn't when I got there. It definitely helped me to start and kind of learn, know a few things here and there.
Okay.
But it was very difficult at first.
Good. So what did you study at the university?
I did an English course for like 6 months. Okay. So that was the first plan, to stay there for 6 months.
Okay. No, but I mean at the university before going to
Oh, yes. I studied psychology.
Psychology.
Yes.
And then you graduated and you moved to Australia initially for a 6 months course to improve your English level. Mm-hmm. But you ended up staying much longer than that.
Yeah, the 6 years turned out to be 6 months turned out to be 5 years.
Wow,
so
5 years in Australia. And how was your experience? That's the funny thing, and I think that's where you can add a lot to people that are watching us there. You, although you work in HR as a recruiter, you were also struggling to find your first job in a new country, right?
Yes.
You didn't speak much English. You were searching for a job like anybody else when just arrived in the country. So how was this experience being in the other side, being the one looking for a job and not really confident about the country, about the language and all of that?
Yeah, so at first it was really hard. I guess the first job for me was very difficult. So I had to find jobs that I wouldn't be speaking English all the time. So I worked...
Like what?
Like some events, some factory work as well, like putting packets together. So I worked in this factory putting toothpaste and envelopes and closing it up and boxing it up and sending it off. So that was my very first job there. And then from that point, I was able to get a job with events and hospitality.
Okay.
So
step by step, you start going for more qualified jobs.
Yeah.
At the same time that your English level was improving.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So I was able to become a manager in hospitality, and then from that point, I got a job with HR at the university in Australia. So
that was the first step into your international HR career.
Yes.
So you're back to your area, to your studies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you remember when you were doing those interviews, the main things you were struggling as a candidate? Because I think it doesn't matter if you work in HR, if you work in events, whatever job you have. The thing is, when you were searching for a better job in your new country, it doesn't matter if you're applying for a job in HR or in any other area. When you are a candidate searching for your first qualified job in a country, it can be hard.
Yes,
right?
For sure.
So how was this experience? Do you remember the main struggles you had, the main difficulties you faced?
Yeah, so I remember my first interview in Sydney, Australia. So it was to work at a Lindt cafe. And I was so nervous. I couldn't understand anything the interviewer was asking. A few words here and there I could pick it up and kind of try to respond back, but it was so difficult for me. I was so nervous as well.
Okay.
So I guess the main point is get the first job. You know, whatever it is, you can always tailor to what you want to do later in life, and just get the first job, get ready, and things will follow. So
from there,
yeah.
I agree, and I spoke in previous videos about that. The first job kind of open doors for you, and people give you more credibility for that, right? Did you felt it this way also?
Yeah, because I didn't have any experience in Australia, so I felt like I didn't get that job at Lint Cafe. No. So many jobs that I went to, job interviews, I wouldn't get the job because I didn't have the experience there, and also my English level wasn't as good. So
okay. The fact that you were not from the country, you were a foreigner working there, did you notice any different treatment during the interviews, any kind of discrimination, maybe something more subtle, not explicit, but did you notice that?
Not at that time, I don't think. I lived in Sydney, so Sydney is a very multicultural city.
Okay.
A little bit in the US. In the US is a little different, I guess.
Why is that?
So so in Australia, I was considered a South American, right? So in the US, I'm a Latino,
which has a bad connotation.
Yes.
Okay.
Because basically anyone from Mexico downwards are Latinos, right? Okay. So for example, in Australia, people knew that I spoke Portuguese, we as Brazilians, right? But in the US, most people wouldn't know that we speak Portuguese in Brazil, for example. Okay. So a little different there. But then going to my experience in the US, it was much easier for me to establish myself there as an HR professional just because I could speak the language. I had the experience from Australia, so I wasn't just coming from Brazil there.
Okay, you already had some international experience.
Exactly.
Okay. Let me just make a pause here because we moved from Australia to the US very fast. So summarizing, you were working for 5 years in total in Australia.
Yes.
And how long in HR? How long in your area?
It was for the last year.
The last year, okay.
Yeah.
And then you moved to the US, and how long did it take for you to get your first job in HR in the US once you moved there?
So as soon as I got my work permit, it took me a month to get
that was fast.
Yeah, so I was there for 7 months at the time.
Okay.
But the first 6 months I couldn't work, and then once I got my work permit, it took me a month to get my first job.
I am curious about one thing. How do people apply for jobs in Australia, and how do people apply for jobs in the US? And before you reply, if you like the content, please click like, share this video with other people, because I know there are a lot of people out there looking for jobs and they don't know how to start. Share this news with your friends and click like and follow us here in the channel. Back to you. How do people apply for jobs in Australia and in the US? Is it the same way?
I think so. It, of course, depends what type of job you want to apply to. But in the US, most of the jobs you just apply online.
Online?
Yeah,
okay.
through either LinkedIn or the company's website. That's how you go about applying.
And in Australia, the same way?
Same way, online. Yeah. The same way. You go to the company's website and apply. Also, if you're targeting a specific company or area of work, just follow that company, follow that, HR professionals in the US or whatever page.
Oh, you're going already towards our next topic. Yeah. Phill ended up working in Microsoft.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Microsoft. And now he's working in Pepsi. So he has strong brands on his CV, and he's an amazing professional because we work together, so I really know him from the colleague side. And his CV has some strong companies there, and Microsoft bought LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So we working for Microsoft, I was able to get exposure to LinkedIn
and trainings and information from inside.
Yes.
Ooh, I love that. So get a pen and a paper and just write down tips from someone that received training from inside of Microsoft, from LinkedIn. Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. And share this content with your friends, because LinkedIn, I'm going to make more videos about that. That's definitely the topic we need to talk about when thinking about career, about job search, career promotion, right? Also
Right.
promotion inside your the company that you are working and all of that.
Yeah.
So let's talk now with Phill, an expert in this area in LinkedIn, in recruitment. Let's talk about LinkedIn. So we could
Yeah.
speak here for 2 hours about
I
it,
know.
but we need to summarize.
Make it short.
So yeah, make it short. If you could say 3 tips, 3 key things that you consider that everybody there in a job search process should consider, should be careful, should pay attention on LinkedIn, which would be your 3 main things about LinkedIn? Write it down. Write it down.
Well, I guess the first one, make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date.
Oh, updated LinkedIn profile. I love it. They call it all stars, right?
Yes, yeah.
So what does it mean, be updated and
So-
be complete? What is that?
As a recruiter, you probably get the same thing, but I get a lot of resumes. So when you do that LinkedIn apply, easy apply, it pulls your LinkedIn profile to your job application. And if your LinkedIn profile is not up to date, you won't have all the information there. So you may miss out on a job opportunity because you don't have the full information on your LinkedIn profile.
And just make sure your profile is complete and it's updated, and that
Yes.
includes your current job, because I don't know why, but a lot of people don't update their
No.
current job. They're like, okay, I'm still working on it. Okay, but what you're still doing is as important as the other things that you have been doing. Otherwise,
Right.
there is a gap on your curriculum that is not convenient for you. So, very good
Yes.
point. Yeah, have an update profile on LinkedIn and make sure all the necessary, all the mandatory fields are complete, and then you can take advantage of this easy apply
Yes.
there. Very good. Very good.
The other
Second
thing
point.
is, the second tip is recruiters, they search for profiles with Boolean search. Boolean search is just some keywords that we use to find LinkedIn profiles. And so make sure you have keywords on your profile. So the skills, if you speak a different language, if you know a specific tool, or program,
Put
just
it there.
list there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just to summarize, what is a keyword? What is that?
So it's just some tags or skills that you can put in your LinkedIn.
The highlights of
Yes.
your profile, the key things that you did, the keywords related to your profile,
Yes.
to your background. The keywords are important because, as Phill said, and I confirm that, recruiters, they do search for keywords in your profile. There is actually a section on LinkedIn called skills.
Yes.
So that's one of the areas that you can add your main skills. But in the whole profile, just make sure that you mention that, right? That you highlight the main things. Very good point. Yeah, your skills. Okay. And third point.
The third tip is make sure you connect to groups related to your
I
area of
love
expertise.
that. Groups.
Yes.
So there is a group session on LinkedIn.
There is,
Where?
yeah.
Where is it? At the top?
So I think it's at
Very end.
the, at the bottom.
That's why people don't see that, because you need to scroll down at the end. And how does it work? Groups on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so you basically just go there and search for groups, like for example in my case, HR professionals in Chicago or whatever, recruiters in Chicago, or if you speak a specific language, just join that group. Women's in technology, or if you work in IT, just make sure you do join groups, because some recruiters will search through groups to find profiles as well.
So recruiters can search for candidates on LinkedIn groups.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Did you know that? Let me know in the comments below if you knew the importance of groups on LinkedIn. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of groups on LinkedIn. So did you ever got an interesting connection through groups on LinkedIn? I did, yeah. Connection with people in my area, with potential clients. So let me know in the comments below if you ever got something good from the groups on LinkedIn. And if you didn't, it's time to start taking advantage of that. So search for the groups in the bar at the top, on the upper part on the left. Search for groups. Play a bit with names, your area, your language, the skills that you have, I don't know, programmer language, whatever skills you have or key things on your profile, and then you just request to enter the group. So as easy as that. There is no mystery about it. And what can I do? Yeah, what can I do once I was accepting this group on LinkedIn? What can I do there? How do I increase my visibility? How do I make the most of being there? Is it just being on a group, or can I go one step out?
Yeah, definitely. You can share articles in that group. So the more you share, the more people like what you shared, and the more visibility you get as well.
Okay.
So
good.
Yeah.
Do you use, I mean, you're a little bit suspicious to say that because you're working on the other side, but now that you're in Pepsi, you're not in Microsoft anymore, do you use LinkedIn as a recruiter on daily basis?
Oh yes, for sure.
Is it still the main tool you use to recruit people?
Yes.
Pay attention to that, because a lot of people tell me, I don't know how to get in contact with recruiters. I don't know how people will find me. So is LinkedIn still the tool?
Yes, for now. I think it's changing a little bit, but I feel like most of, Fortune 500 companies, they all have LinkedIn.
Okay.
LinkedIn Recruiter to find talent.
Okay.
So especially very specialized talent as well.
Okay. And you see change towards what?
I don't know if changes, but we do get applications from Indeed a lot, and other platforms as well. So I feel like whenever we want to for applicants to apply, candidates to apply, they come from Indeed, from LinkedIn, from other tools as well. So it's not only LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But when we want to find talent, so we want to go engage passive talent, we usually go to LinkedIn.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
So let's differentiate things a little bit. As a candidate, you can and you should, I think, diversify the ways you show your curriculum, show your profile and contact with companies. So it's not only about LinkedIn, it's also about LinkedIn. But there are websites, and I think it changes from country to country.
Yes.
Right? So some websites maybe you were using in Australia, but they are not used in the US. So once you get into a new country, or if you are planning to work in a new country, dig a little bit, find out which are the main websites for job search in that country.
Right.
Go for them, but together with that, parallel with that, take advantage of your LinkedIn profile, because as Phill said, recruiters, they use LinkedIn to find your profile. That's the main tool from the recruiter point of view, the main way that we find candidates. So I think diversity is a key thing here.
For sure.
So if you put all your time and all your energy in only one channel, you're actually reducing the chances that the recruiter can find you. So the more the better. But at the end of the day, I know we don't have time to be in 10 different platforms and updating my curriculum here, my new experience. So be smart, choose the tools that are key in the process, right? That will give you more visibility. And I strongly recommend, and Phill is saying the same thing, LinkedIn should be one of the tools that you are using, because the recruiters from this side, we are using LinkedIn on daily basis.
And also make sure you put your contact information on LinkedIn, because there's a lot of people that don't put that information there.
Why?
And it's so difficult for us to reach out to the person. So
okay, let's stop here. If you're looking for a job, you're searching for a job, how do you want that we contact you if you don't leave your email, if you don't leave a phone number? There is no way to connect you. And candidates, sometimes they're not checking their inbox on LinkedIn all the time. So we send the message and we say, I hope this person is going to reply. But then 1 week passed and you, candidate, didn't reply to our message. So please put your contact details. Keep an eye on LinkedIn maybe once every 2 days.
Yes.
It's not that hard, because we want to find you, but if you're not reachable, like, we can't connect with you. So contact details. Easy thing, but makes a big difference on the process. What is your main question about building up a career in an international country? Probably Phill's experience helped you already, but is there any other thing you'd like to know about? Any other question that have been in your mind for a long time and you never knew who to ask for? Let's see if we can help you. So just write in the comments below, what are you struggling with when considering a career in another country? And I like the thing you said about the language, because if you remember, when Phil moved to Australia, he didn't speak English, or at least very basic English.
Very
right?
basic.
And I know a lot of people, they say, oh, I can't consider a career in a new country because I don't speak the language. So how do you see the importance of being fluent in a language before you move to that country? Is it that relevant? Is it something you can manage, or should you improve your language before you move? So
it depends on each person. For me, I knew that if I stayed in Brazil, it would be very difficult for me to learn English, just because I feel like I learned by doing things. So I just moved to Australia, and I was like, yeah, I'll learn eventually. So,
okay.
But if you have the time and you can do it, just try to focus before you go. That will help you to get a better opportunity.
Speed up the process.
The process, yes, for sure.
You're very brave, because
Yes.
I know a lot of people there that keep telling me, oh, I wish I was as brave as you are, and I could start a new life in a new country, but I don't speak the language. So don't let that be something that stops you forever. But as Phil said, work on it, right? There is no magic here. It's like studying, getting out of your comfort zone, forcing you to be in situations that you have to speak the language, right? It's a process. It won't happen magically from one day to the other, but I know that language can be something that stop people to make the first step towards a new career. And from our side as a recruiter, sometimes we cannot choose you if you unfortunately do not meet the language skills.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
When we are in the company side, it's difficult, because sometimes we really like the person, we really like the candidate, the profile is amazing, but
don't have the language skills.
Yeah, and then we can't do much about it. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like going to the gym. You don't expect to be fit in one day, right?
Oh,
so
no?
it's a process.
It's a process, yeah. And I think there's another thing about the language skills. Maybe you can communicate in the language, but you don't have the technical terms related to your area. So that's another thing. Maybe you can make friends, you can survive in the city, but you don't have the specific vocabulary, and that also can make a difference.
For sure.
Right? If you're in a job interview with your future hiring manager, and you know what you want to say, you know the answer, but you can't find the right word. So that can also stop you in maybe the final interviews, the last steps of the process, because then those details will make a difference. But as you said, I like the gym metaphor. So exercise your language and your interview
skills as well.
Skills, everything can be trained, or most of things can be trained, but definitely language and your skills doing the interview can be trained and can be improved. We have another video on the channel about, so you can check it there and start exercising your interview skills, and at the same time you can work on your language skills. So the more you prepare yourself, the higher the chance. This is not magic. Phil worked a lot to be where he is today, successful, lived in different countries and working in Pepsi, but it didn't happen magically.
Yeah, for sure. It's a process, once again.
It's a process, yeah. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here in beautiful Barcelona. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you for coming here to visit. Yeah. So we are together in Barcelona today, and I just had to stop him from his sightseeing and grab him here to do this interview, because I knew he would add a lot of value to people out there and motivate you that is still having doubts about, shall I make this step towards an international career? Shall I try it on? So I think that after what Phil said, it is possible. It requires preparation.
Yes.
LinkedIn is one of the tools that will help you in the process. And if you want to know more about it, just let me know in the comments below, and I might create another video to answer your questions. So thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. De nada. Thank you, everyone.